What a bullet! Scott Arfield! He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end.
Burnley win the next ball. Here's Sir Rory now. On the outside. Decent.
Barnes! He got it! Ashley Barnes with it! What a cross from Sir Rory! And there was Ashley Barnes! And Burnley leading the derby.
Knocks it quickly. Finds Benson in space at the byline. Can Burnley get a goal here? Back for Brownell. Saved by the keeper!
Burnley won it to the end! That is magnificent! They deserve that!
Only by Paul Teller. Off for a hat-trick.
He's got it! Hat-trick for Nathan Teller! Oh, he's on fire at the minute! 3-0 Burnley! It's Nathan Teller's day!
And Burnley are 3 up here. Fantastic derby. Here's Benson. Can he go on the outside? Comes inside. Top shot.
Oh, and a goal! Manuel Benson once more! That is top class!
Burnley have done it. Fantastic. Clarets deserve the championship title. They've been the best side throughout the campaign. Burnley have won the second tier. What a fantastic achievement. The players have been magnificent.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome along to the latest instalment of the Turfcast podcast pre-game show with me, Joe Redmond, head of quite a big game at Turf Moor this weekend. Burnley could, it's unlikely, it's very unlikely, but could be crowned championship champions for the third time in a row at the weekend. But we are, of course, relying on a favour from not bottom club Plymouth anymore, second bottom club Plymouth, already relegated Plymouth up against Leeds United, who have just stuck 4 past Bristol City and 6 past Stoke City. So I won't be holding out much hope myself, Clarets. Obviously, I'm hoping that it gets done, but there's quite a lot going on around the Championship this weekend. There's quite a tasty battle down the bottom where I, for one, I'm hoping Preston North End get relegated. Just fingers crossed, just Lancashire rivals, just hope they go down. And there is, of course, quite a lot going in the hunt for the playoffs. And that brings me on nicely to our opponents. And I'm pleased to introduce Mickey from That Millwall Pod. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, good, mate. I mean, we're looking forward to this as Burnley fans, but there's not really, I always say this. I say there's not really much riding on it. The job was promotion. That's all that matters. Whether we finish second or first, it's the same prize at the end other than a trophy. I would like to win the trophy, but I feel like you probably have a little bit more riding on it. So how are you guys feeling? Are you excited for it? Nervous?
A little bit of both to a degree. I mean, there's obviously a little bit of nerves, but I think it's just enjoy the moment and enjoy the game because
definitely.
realistically, it's out of our hands. A couple of other wins in the season would have taken it, back into our hands as such. But it's out of our hands. We need Coventry to lose, and we need other teams to lose and win. And I listen. We were lucky enough to interview a player this week, part of this new strategy of Millwall getting involved with fan media. And we interviewed the fellow who comes second in player of the season. And we basically said to him, how are you looking forward to Saturday? What is it? And literally he turned around and said, it's no fear. He said, we're literally just going to go out there and enjoy our football, and what will be. And that's it. We need to win it if we want to be in with it, but it's out of our hands. We could still win on Saturday, and everyone else wins. Coventry wins, and everyone else, and we could still be in it.
Yeah, just looking at the table there. Obviously, you're down in 7th on 66 points. Coventry above you on 66 points. Bristol City on 67 points. There's no point talking about any teams directly underneath you because they're definitely not going to get the playoffs, or fingers crossed anyway that nobody underneath you gets the playoffs. But you're looking at that, and like you said, it is out of your hands, and you do have a tough game, even though, obviously, without sounding arrogant, even though we've already done the main job, you do have a tough game. Blackburn have a tough game as well away at Blades. They're probably fighting to get a bit of form. Coventry are playing Middlesbrough. Am I right in that one?
Yep.
Yeah, and then obviously Bristol City are hopefully relegating Preston North End. But you're looking at that one then. What's your prediction? You think you're getting it done, or do you think it's too tough of an ask at this stage?
I think it's possible. We beat you before. You haven't lost a
Only
game
two
since
teams have done it this season.
That's it, and we're one of them, and we're little old Millwall.
Yeah.
But it'll be good to go out and do the double over you in this season. It'll be good to beat you at home. No one's beaten you since we did. And I mean, you haven't really got much to play for, realistically. I mean, Leeds obviously going to go out and win their last game. I can't see them not winning that, really. So they're going to be champions. And, as much as we all dreamt that they were going to muck it up again and fall apart, they haven't. But, they'll be back down next year. So let's not worry about that one. But I just think it's, I heard a rumour that you had your end of season do this week as well, didn't you? Didn't you have your end of season player of the season, end of season do?
Not that I'm aware of. We've got a charity event on Sunday night after your game. We obviously, the lads have been at the Player of the Year awards.
Oh no, it was
the EFL ones, the EFL Player of the Year awards.
Yeah, and I was told that a few of your players
was robbed. By the way,
I was told that a few of your players had a few free glasses of champagne, shall we say? So hopefully the hangover is still there, and they've not trained hard for the rest of the week. And listen, hopefully you're on the beach and we come up there and win. Whichever way it happens, we could, listen. All I'm saying is this, right? Can you imagine if we got in the Premiership? Could you just imagine the poor Premier League, the absolute the heartache what they would be having right now, thinking that there's a possibility. If Saturday 12:30 comes, right, by 1 o'clock, Coventry are losing, right, and we're still drawing, right, or all of a sudden, everyone in Premier League towers, mate, will be having kittens. There is no way in a million years that anyone in the Premier League, apart from you and Leeds probably, who would honestly want us. I think most of the fans
would pay good money to see Millwall in the Premier League. Like you said, mate, a lot of Premier League fans won't know what's hit them.
No, and we will shake that. I mean, but 500 Millwall fans can pretty much sound the same as 47,000 Leeds fans. We are loud, and I think we need to introduce the Premier League to the we just need to introduce the Premier League to this. And do I think we're ready for the Premier League this season? No, I think we're probably ready next season. But you know what? 6 months ago, I wouldn't have said we would have been anywhere near the playoffs. I think some of the lads who've done a pre-season show were thinking we were going to be finishing, 18th, 19th. But the fact that we're suddenly, potentially, we could come 5th, you've got to take it with both hands. And we always perform when we're the underdogs.
On that, then, you must be delighted with how the season's gone. If some of the fans were predicting 18th, obviously there's a chance that you could get in the playoffs, like you just said, then could still finish 5th. It didn't start great, admittedly. Obviously, Alex Neil getting sacked in December. Neil Harris getting sacked in December, Alex Neil coming in December. But when you look at the season now on a whole, you must be delighted with where you are and how it's panned out.
I think it's great because I think we've had so much turmoil over the last 2 seasons. Like, we lost our chairman, sadly. He died. Then the start of this season, we lost our keeper. Young son died overnight. And it
wasn't ages ago that, I didn't realize that was this season.
Yeah, no, it's 315 days or so. So yeah, it was at the beginning of the season. So mental. But then we had everyone to suddenly get used. We had Tango injured for the first few games. We had to bed in a new keeper who looked really nervous. We were letting in a lot of goals the first couple of games. Then, to be fair, it's a fairy tale season because we had Neil Harris in. We had a complete change of direction from the board during the summer. We got rid of our CEO. We got rid of our head of recruitment. We got rid of our COO, and then basically replaced all of them with new people. Brought in Steve Gallen. Brought in, a new way we do recruitment. All of a sudden, we're getting players who, one, we've never heard of, but actually they're good, and we're getting them cheap. And all of a sudden, you're looking at this going, something's all right. Then Neil Harris was moaning and groaning about a lot of the signings coming in. Oh, I didn't pick this, I didn't do that. Some stuff going on, you know, on the media press conferences and stuff. What you're like, what's going on? Then it gets to a stage where he was booed at Oxford. He went. We had a few games under the caretaker where we were okay. Alex Neil comes in, starts playing youth, starts playing the players what Neil Harris didn't rate, and you know, the Serb is now one of the best under 21s centre forwards. Scored them, you know, most goals. He scored what, pretty much 12 goals, I think, so far this season, and he's on fire. Yet the previous manager didn't rate him.
I'm glad you were sort of like talking about the sort of like the previous manager mourning and stuff and how he didn't rate the players, because that always leads me into my next question, which was, at the time, Harris being sacked, was that a popular decision with the fans?
I think it had to. I think it had to happen. There was the way he was playing in the media, the way that he was constantly moaning about the head of recruitment, that he wasn't involved in stuff, and other things were coming out to say that, well, he was involved. He knew it was coming in, etc. There was definitely a deep-rooted upset within, as much as you can make out from the footage and whatnot and rumours. But no, to me, I think it was something that needed. When he come in the season before, when Rowett left and he come in, it was Neil Harris is needed to cover us for this season, but he's not the man to take us forward. He's the man to galvanise us and bring in the Millwall spirit that, you know, the don't die. Last season, we were pretty much on the verge of relegation, and he literally went on and won like the last 8-9 games, 10 games, I think it was. But all of a sudden now you get to there and you just go like, I never thought Neil was the man for the future. And then you look at the managers who were rumoured to come to us, what they're doing now. So you had Bloomfield, you had Schumacher, you had Schumacher, you had a few, who's the other ones we had, where they were all rated, Mowbray, people like that. And yet you look at them and they all refused and they didn't go through. Alex Neil applied for the job, actually wanted the job. And you go, is he the right fit? Now look at it, you're going, yeah, he probably is. He understands us.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone's watching, look on our channel. We posted one for a week or two ago with his press conference. But you listen to all his press conferences all week, all for the season, and it's just different to how it was before, where we had a manager that used to blame players or blame someone. He just comes in and says, "Yeah, I got it wrong. It was my fault. I played this. I didn't think we needed to play 2 up front. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that." And he just doesn't blame the players. And when you see the players and speak to players, they seem to just have no weight on them. So they're just going out and playing games and winning. I mean, I think it's refreshing. I don't know if you know whether or not it's happened with your end, but when you're in this sort of position, you'll always have managers talking about looking down, you know, making sure that everything's okay. Get to 40 points, we'll be safe. Get to this, we'll be safe. He's always been going every game as it is. Playoffs are still achievable.
The same as that. He always just says, take each game as it is. Yeah.
If we win, we're still in. If we lose, it's out. You know, and that's literally the whole mentality he's had all season. So, yes, I think Neil Harris had to go. Is Alex Neil the right choice for us? Yes, and I think that history will probably prove that. But at the moment, still early days. But if we gets us to finishing 6th or 5th, absolutely fantastic. It's probably the best position over the last few years. Obviously, we got up into a playoffs before, but yeah, I think it's probably the best position we've been in for a while. So yeah, I think it's exciting. You've got to be excited with it.
Yeah, definitely. Going into the final day of the season with something positive to play for. Yeah, I think a lot of football fans would take that.
The only nightmare is going up to Burnley. Going up to Burnley for a 12:30 kickoff. Do you know what I mean?
We had to go down to QPR last Saturday. I was on the road at 6:30. I think I set off. So yeah, it is a bit of a pain, and we feel that pain. At least you didn't have to go to Plymouth on a Tuesday night. I mean, you might have done. I don't know what your fixtures were.
We
but
did.
That
And a
Plymouth
Wednesday.
on a Tuesday, ridiculous. When I saw it, yeah. In fact, I think it was a Wednesday for us actually.
Yeah.
We were at home against them on a Tuesday night, and I remember thinking, poor Plymouth fans. And then I looked further down the fixture list. I'm like, oh, they've done it to us as well. That's one of the only grounds I've got left to do in the Championship as well. But I'm not doing it on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night.
Well, you won't have to do it next year because they're obviously, I hope they don't, but it looks like they're all done and dusted unless they get.
They need a 13 goals. Yeah, it's not going to be a 7-0, is it? Especially at home to Leeds, they might lose 7-0 at home to Leeds. They're not going to win it. No. I do want to talk about your form though. 7 wins in your last 10, 5 wins in your last 6. You won at Bramall Lane. Thank you for that, by the way. Why are you so good all of a sudden? Is it down to Alex Neil and changing things up and bringing people in, or is it a mixture of a few things?
I think it's a mixture of a few things. I think Alex Neil, if you speak to the players and you ask them what they say, that Alex Neil is so not intense, but he's so particular on what he wants and how to play. It's like very, very technical football, but he wants them again to enjoy the. So it's not, you'll be here. It'll be, I want you here because this will open this or this, or they've now, because they're playing together, they trust players. Like we interviewed Casper the other day and we said to Casper, why do you, everyone says that Tango brings the best out in you. What do you find in there? And he says, when I know Tango's behind me, I know that I can go forward. And when Savil's beside me, I know that I don't have to worry about there, because even if I lose the ball, they're going to protect me and I can just concentrate with moving forward. And I think that's it. I think it's just literally Alex Neil is letting them enjoy their football. He's brought the home crowd on. So, the home side of it, he's brought the home crowd on and given them something to enjoy and enjoy the style of football. And again, he's done that with the away. Take Plymouth out of the question, because obviously Plymouth, I think, was just a bad day at the office. But yeah, I think it's just an enjoyable, it's just an enjoyable thing to watch. I think that is the secret to it. I think it's just literally that if the players are enjoying it, the manager's enjoying it, everyone else within the club's enjoying it, and things are going right, then all of a sudden the fans will enjoy it. And if the fans enjoy it, there's a whole lot. Don't get me wrong. There's still, losing games 1-0, losing games sloppy like we did the other day with Blackburn, etc. There is a high level of abuse what comes across online, but it's forgotten about on the next game when we suddenly get a result.
Yeah, that's good to see. According to the BBC, you set up as 4-2-3-1 in your last game at home to Swansea. I feel like everybody plays that formation these days. Talk to me about how you play your game. Is it possession based? Is it slow build up? Is it attacking based? Is it counter attacking? How do you set up?
He plays different all over, but he does play. He likes to keep hold of the ball. He's like, the more we keep hold of the ball, but he's not one of those where they keep hold of the ball and keep passing it backwards. He's eliminated a lot of that now, where, you've got it on the halfway line and all of a sudden it's right back to the keeper. It's a lot of it swapping it about players. But occasionally he does go 4-4-2, full on attack, and let's have it. So I wouldn't necessarily make anything out of what the formations have been, because we do have a couple of players what can fit in a 4-4-2 quite happily. And if he thinks that's going to be, and I honestly believe going on to Saturday, I think the fact that we have nothing to lose, I think it will go. And he has the ability to start 4-4-2, then go on to a 4-3-2-1, then change it to 3-5-2. He has the ability to just to change it literally in mid-game by making a few changes and a few subs. So I wouldn't necessarily take what his formation is, but he will, rest assured, he will have a game plan going in. It won't just be, we're just come to it. I wouldn't be surprised if we either take it to you heavily, or if we think that we're going to gain more more advantage by letting you bringing it to us and do a counter attack, then that'll be the way he goes. And I think that's the difference with him over other people. We keep talking about it on the pod. He doesn't just come out with a plan A. He has a plan A, B, C, D, E. Do you know what I mean? And literally, he knows that whatever starts happening, he can make a few change, and all of a sudden he has that next part of him where he can sit there and go for it.
Yeah. You know what? That was going to be my next question. So, like, asking how you think he'll set up, because I'm expecting you to come at us, but I obviously haven't seen Millwall play very often this season. I think just the once when you beat us down in London. Just on the fact that you have to win the game, I'm expecting you to open up, come at us, throw the kitchen sink at us, and try and catch us off guard, especially in like the first 15, 20 minutes. Maybe then Burnley will come back into the game. I'm fully expecting that to happen. And if you do that, we may be able to pick you off around the back because you'll be throwing caution to the wind, and then that can play into our hands. But how are you expecting them to set up?
Yeah, I think there'll be caution, but I don't think he's going to sit back, because I think sitting back could be dangerous. So I could see him quite happily going 4-4-2 and just literally put some speed into the wings and literally stick the balls into the Serb's got a point to prove. Yeah. And I think, he wants probably another, 1 or 2 goals. And I think, I think it's good that Fleming ain't playing on Saturday. But I also think that it would have been absolutely hilarious to see how like Coop and Tango and Saville would have took Fleming, because I don't think there'd be any prisoners. It would literally be, as soon as that whistle, you're a marked man and we're coming after you. So it'll be interesting. I mean, before we finish, I've got a question about Fleming I'd like to ask you at the end, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. What I do is when I get to the end, I ask predictions, and then feel free to dive in after that. But before we get on to that, I do want to ask: any injuries, suspensions, or anybody missing for the weekend?
No, I think you've been unlucky, to be fair. I think most of them are coming back. So I don't think any. Obviously, we've got a few on long term. Danny Mack done his ACL. Our keeper's done. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and again, we still don't know whether or not our number 2 keeper is going to be fit. But we've got a young kid in goal at the minute who had a blinder on the last game. But he's only, this will be if he's playing. And again, we've got no idea. But it'll be his 3rd professional game.
Yeah, hopefully we test him then. We test him early on. You say that as well. You say like, oh, you've been unlucky. I'm looking forward to this game because there's no jeopardy on it for Burnley fans. Like I said, I would obviously rather win the league than not win the league. But if Leeds win the league, which I think they will, because they're probably going to beat Plymouth. If we were in front and we had to beat you, then I'd be a little bit more concerned about it, because it's where we're hoping that Leeds drop points against Plymouth, which I have no hope whatsoever that they will. I'm kind of just looking forward to it. Like if you go 1-0 up, I won't be losing any sleep over it. I won't be getting stressed. The only thing that I want to do is go the full season unbeaten at home. That's really all I'm bothered about, because we nearly did it a couple of years ago, but we lost at home against QPR after we were already promoted. And it's a similar sort of vibe now. So we'll see what happens. But I've never seen Burnley do that, so I would like to see us do that this season.
Yeah, it won't happen. We're going to beat you this season. I just think everything's. I just really do honestly believe that it's just. I don't know. I just think it's everything what's happened this season, everything what's gone on the last season, 2 seasons. We have gone through absolute hell and back. I mean, you think how it is, right? That we lost our chairman, right? So last season we lost our chairman July the 4th. So we started the new season mourning the loss of our chairman. In goal for the first time was Sarkic, brand new keeper into the club, obviously with that turmoil what's gone on, and he comes in. A year later, at the start of the new season, we've got another new keeper. This time we're going into mourning again on the first game of mourning the loss of Sarkic, and we've literally had to just, 2 years on the trot. This would be a fantastic fairy tale end to the season, but is it that little bit too far? Maybe. Is it out of our hands? maybe, but we could still upset the apple cart. I mean, we could upset you guys and beat you. And, you know, I just think listen, if you're not going into it positive and sitting there going, well, you know, Burnley's the best team in the league. They, you know, no one's beating them at home. Only 2 clubs have beaten them. Well, one of them was us. So we didn't really fear you before, and I don't think we fear you this time. And the fact that we've got nothing to lose makes it even more. And the fact that, you know, half time, if Leeds are battering Plymouth 3-4-0, are your players really going to want to come out and risk it too much, especially when they're going away on holiday and they're in the Prem next season? Do they want to risk it?
That's the aspect I worry about, that Leeds go 3-0 up early on, and then the atmosphere at the turf will be a bit dead apart from the away end. But again, I think the majority of fans feel like me. Yes, they want to win it, but they're not overly that bothered. I'm just looking forward to a good game of football, I think, on Saturday more than anything else.
No, I think the same. And I think that point of, you know, you're talking next season being in the Premier League. And if you're a player potentially on the older edge, and you've got that opportunity, because, you know, you might have been there with you before, you might not. Are you going to want to go out and give it against a team like Millwall, who, we're not dirty, but we play old school. We are hard. You know, we will go through you. Do you want to risk that injury, or do you just want to sort of have an easy sit back and maybe go for a draw just to be safe and just hope that everybody escapes nicely, relatively, so that you can go in and not do a Southampton next season?
Fingers crossed we don't do a Southampton or a Derby or a Leicester or an Ipswich. But it's
Leicester won the Prem, so you can't.
No, I mean for last season, for the season. Not obviously when they won the Prem. Before we get into predictions, if you qualify for the playoffs, who do you want to play? It's obviously Sheffield United or Sunderland. Which team would you rather play?
I think we play Sheffield United first and then play Sunderland in the final. And then,
is that how you'd rather do it?
Yeah, I mean, personally, on a heart level, I think that's the way it will work out, because if we do finish 5th, I think we'll be Sheffield and then Sunderland. But on a heart, and obviously, you know, you're in the same group as me. Johnny Gascoigne, unfortunately, one of the podcasters, Sheffield United guy, sadly took his own life in September, and he was a massive Sheffield United fan. So I would love to get Sheffield United in the final and to beat them, just to give, you know, one last poke in the eye. Do you know what I mean? Bless him, he's there, he's looking down. But we had that sort of relationship. He used to call me a southern softie, and I used to call him a northern, without swearing on your show. But yeah, so
yeah.
we had a great relationship, and he was a top lad. So, and again, it's what I'm pointing to. This season's it's just falling into place as such, where it's sort of written, but we can't change what will be. I think if we had won a couple of other games this season, we wouldn't be in this position now. But I think it's too far out of our hand. We need Coventry to lose. We need, you know, someone else to lose.
Coventry bang out of form. Coventry bang out of form.
I mean, it would be nice for Coventry to lose.
Form.
No, it would be nice for them to lose, because of, obviously, they got one of our ex-managers. I mean, what have we gone through? 4 managers, I think, 5 managers in the last 2 years. So, yeah, I think the fact that Lampard falling apart and Edwards falling apart is good. And could we do it and just sort of upset? I mean, listen, if you're a Burnley player, let Millwall win, right? Coventry lose, because just think of the pain at Lancaster House of knowing that there's a huge potential that Millwall could be getting into the Premier League. And I think that would be enough to, because I think everybody has a guilty pleasure, don't they, of Millwall? Everybody
I'd
has
love to see you in the Prem. Yeah. I would love to see you in the Prem. I'd love to see you just espousing, obviously, West Ham, Spurs, like some of the big 6 fans, like they come to Turf Moor and they're like, bloody hell, this is a disgrace, what an horrible club. It's just because we're just not like letting them have the ball and stuff like that. So imagine what they'd be like when they go to Millwall and the atmosphere is like intimidating, and you're roughing them up. They'd have kittens, mate.
Mate, you've got to understand that Millwall's like a proper old school. So those of you who might not have been to Millwall, you know, because of fear or whatever, but you've got to understand that when a player takes a throw in at Millwall, we can touch them. And you definitely will hear what we want to tell you. When we played Leicester, Ben Chilwell, Cheswell, he stopped taking throw-ins because it was getting to him. Literally a Premiership player who wouldn't do it. But, I just think that if we could get it for one season, I think that's all we'd need. I think most of the fans...
the investment obviously comes in after that, and then that's what happened to us in 2009. That one season, yes, we got relegated, didn't bounce back for 5 years, but we're miles ahead of the rest of the Championship in that time. Just unfortunate to get hope. I mean, in terms of financial stability, obviously, but and again, the gap's so big now, and you get so much money. It's like 150 million quid for 1 year in the Prem in TV rights alone, or whatever. So yeah, you'll be set up for years if you just have that 1 year. Even if you get tanked every week, who cares, really?
I don't think we would,
set up for life. I think you'll do a Luton. I think you'll be similar to Luton last year. You'll give it a good go, but just ultimately fall away. I think that's what. Obviously, that's before any investments. Or I'm just guessing here. I don't know who you'd sign or whatever. But I feel like you'd be similar to Luton last year. But hopefully, if that is the case for you, you're not awful in the Championship the year after, like Luton have been this year.
Yeah, no, I don't think we will. But I don't think there's any fan what doesn't, all they really want is one season in the Prem, just to basically take it to the top lot, the top six, and just watch everyone melt. But yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, I am silly. My camera's got a weird thing of doing that. There you go. I don't know why it does that. We'll get into predictions then, please, mate. What's your prediction for the game at Turf Moor on Saturday?
I'm going to go 2-1 Millwall.
2-1 Millwall. You would be the first team to score 2 goals against us in the league this season. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it'd be one hell of a feat to be able to do that.
I mean, it will probably be a draw, or it'll be a loss. But I think realistically, I could see us probably scoring early, scoring, and then we get a last minute, and it'll be a last minute where Leeds are losing or Leeds are drawing as well, just to make the pain that little bit harder.
That would annoy me. I genuinely think the scenario is going to be, I'm not bothered, because Leeds will be winning 4-5-0 already. But like I said, I'm so intrigued by this game and how you're going to set up. And like I said, I expect you to throw the kitchen sink at it. I really, really do. But then teams have done that to us in the past before, and then we've been able to pick them off. But then you're obviously better than some of the teams that have done that because you're fighting for the playoffs. So it's interesting.
If it was Neil Harris, I would have said that Neil Harris is probably going to go into it, nothing to lose, and he might go all out. But then again, he wasn't really playing some of the players, so he would have probably played, or Gary Rowett would have probably played not to lose and try and nick it. But Alex Neil would have been watching your games like, I don't know what. He would be watching all your past games and seeing where your weaknesses are, and he will exploit them. We've done it before, and he'll do it again. And that's the difference between him and any of our other managers. He will watch your games, analyze your games, look at where he can expose you, and that's what he will go at. So he will look at it and go, they're weak here, we're going to play 4-4-2. Or he'll go, right, we're going to play up front and we're going to have a number 10 and we're going to sit there and have, wide, or we're going to play with wing backs, whatever. But he will he will make that decision based on how you play. And listen, I'm not being funny. Scott Parker or Alex Neil on a technical level, I think Alex Neil all day long. And don't forget, Alex Neil's done this before a few times. Done it with Sunderland, coming late, got him a late charge, got him in the playoffs. Done it with Norwich. So, yeah. And that's what adds to the jeopardy of this. It's just so many factors what you eye up and look at and go, going into a game like this where potentially playoffs are on the table, pressure on a manager, pressure on the players, and you go, actually, he's already done it. He's done it at Norwich. He's done it at Sunderland.
Yeah.
And even in comments where people have sat there and said to him, what are you thinking about the playoffs? He said, well, it's each game as it is, but if we make it, then as you know, I've got form for playoffs. I'm okay. And you just think that level of confidence without being arrogant, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant time. If we don't do it, we've had a fantastic season. We get some more players in the summer. We take that nice bit of the money from you now that, the obligation to buy Fleming. Thank you very much. And yeah, we move on. That's it.
You did say you wanted to ask the question about Fleming before we wrap it up.
Do you think Fleming is a Premiership ready player?
Not right now. But what I will say is I've never seen him play in his natural position. Because for you guys, he played more as like a 10 or a false 9. We just seem to be playing him as an out-and-out striker. And it has infuriated. He scored a lot of goals, to be fair. He obviously got a couple against QPR. I think he scored the most away goals in the league this year. He has frustrated me at times. Sometimes defenders liked, and when you said earlier, like your centre backs would take no prisoners against him, I wanted to say, like, well, he'd be used to that, because pretty much all defenders tend to do is grab him by the shirt, throw him around. Referees don't give anything, and I would like him to be a bit stronger. But yeah, a Premier League ready player, not sure. But
I agree with you.
I would like to see him play in his proper position as a false 9 or a 10, with a proper out-and-out striker up there with him. But then you've got to think to yourself, well, who would you drop? Are you dropping Brownhill, Hannibal, And I'd probably rather have one of them two in the team over him. But, he started slowly. He's got better as the season's gone on, scored a couple of decent goals at the weekend. So he's done well. He's had a good season. They won't be picking up any personal awards for what he's done here this season. I think the personal awards go to the likes of Trafford or Steve or Josh. But, he's done well. He's endeared himself to the fans. We love his celebration. It's so simple. But like, my little boy is 7, and every time Fleming scores, he did it on his school picture, mate. He did it on his primary school picture, just like that. And I'm like, for God's sake, man. But
we had the best chant. We had the best chant for him was he comes from Amsterdam, and he effing hates West Ham, and that was it. It was a simple.
I love that.
It was a simple chant, but no, he was good. But it was Neil Warnock was sussed him out. So when he was with us, he started slow, and then he really come on, and people couldn't. He was dangerous, couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, Neil Warnock played us and put 2 players on him and just stopped him dead. And as soon as he did that, everyone else started doing it. And as soon as you make him frustrated, he doesn't. But, mate, he can ping a free kick, though, can't he?
Oh, mate. Who were it against? Bristol City, where he scored a great free kick. I might be wrong, but he scored a really good goal against Norwich down at Norwich. That wasn't a free kick as such. It was just a 30-40 yard strike. Someone touched it to him for the free kick. But yeah, he scored a free kick recently. I think it was as well.
And he loves a volley as well.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him score a volley yet this year. Off the top of my head, I'm probably wrong. Someone will tell me I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, I like him, mate. I like him.
Good player.
Yeah,
I just wish we'd sold him to you the season before. If we'd have sold him to you the season before, and the rumours are true,
we were after him.
12. Yeah,
we were after him.
As far as I was led to believe, you offered 12 million, and we basically wanted 15. So we were like, no. And I think you had a list of 4 or 5 players, and he was 3rd or 4th on that list. And I think your 1st or 2nd come up, and you went, thank you very much, we'll have that, and then just like binned it. And then you come in, well, we know what happened on the last day of the season, and everyone else played along with that, and it was brilliant where people just jumped on the back of it, posting pictures of the helicopter landing. But you knew, I gave you the tip that he was on his way to you, and follow this. And
my only gripe about that is I was like, you
didn't believe me, did you?
No, I did, but you've told me stuff before, and it's but I always
don't start that.
Twitter. No, but I always worry about coming across on Twitter as like I want to be ITK, and look at me, I know this, so I don't like posting stuff. But then when the helicopter was confirmed, I was like, for God's sake, I should have gone with that earlier.
Do you know what? It was one of the shows up there, the Burnley lads, absolutely ruined us. Ruined me a season.
Yeah, one of the pages tweeted it.
Yeah,
as well.
And everybody posted when I sat there and talking, saying, "Oh, it's this," and I said allegedly, and literally they just clipped it from our show, but sort of everybody just left that bit out, and it was like Millwall show. Fleming's coming. He didn't come that season, but he come the next season. But he
do you remember which page it was? We can give him some.
But you're gonna tell me because you said it.
I don't remember.
It'll be on. I think it'll probably be. Actually, I'll probably do because you sent it to me when you're being ruined, and I was like, yeah, cheers for that one. But yeah, no, it'll be. Is it? I can't think which one it was, but yeah, it was just funny. We knew there was a rumor that when he come from Holland, that he pretty much wanted to get to the Premier League, and for some reason it was Burnley, and I just don't know why. But it was always rumored that he was going to go to Burnley, and yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I've got the Burnley way, but I don't know if it was that one or not. But yeah, I don't know. Whoever did it knows it was one of those ones what does a lot of the clickbait stuff out of your channel, not your channel, but you know, your
not my
side.
channel, my fan base. Yeah, I like Kane at the Burnley way. To be fair, he's a good lad. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there, mate. I said I'll only have you for half an hour. It's not.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
But I always like to give our guests a chance to plug their podcast or their YouTube channel. If anybody wants to go and watch any pre or post game content around this game, where can people find you, mate?
We are called That Millwall Podcast, or That Millwall Pod. You'll find us. We're exactly the same username across all socials. And Friday night, 8 p.m, we go live on our YouTube channel, fully interactive. So as long as you don't want to be a D-head, then join in the comments, mate.
There's plenty of them on YouTube, mate.
Plenty. They're normally Leeds supporters, but listen, if you are sensible and you're up for a bit of banter and a bit of debate and conversation, then come and join the live. It's fully interactive. We pull up your comments. We interact with you, because I think that's just the way. If you're giving us your time watching us, I think it's just the least we can do. We don't charge you for it.
Yeah.
We're not doing it to make millions and millions of pounds. We just do it for fun. And I think it's just that little bit of respect back from us to read your comments out where you've taken time to, get involved.
So I try and read as many out myself as well. But you say that we're not here to make millions and millions of dollars. No, we're not Goldbridge or Robbie Lyle, who are making millions and millions of dollars doing this. But
following the team, what they don't really support. I mean, not
the
Forest fan.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I wonder which one you're referring to there. But yeah, cheers for that, mate. I normally say good luck for the rest of the season, except for when you play us, but it's literally the last game. What I will say is, if you get to the playoffs, which means you've beaten us. So again, I've already sounded silly. Good luck, mate. And if anyone's going to beat them lot down the M65 to the playoffs, and that's sixth position, I hope it's you. But again, that means you've beaten us. So as long as Blackburn don't qualify, that's all I'm bothered about. Let's be fair, that's all I'm bothered about. But mate, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to speak to Walmart early in the season as well, before the game down at the Den.
He's much better for football knowledge, mate, than me. But yeah, listen, I have to come on just for
the good
look.
Passion merchant?
Yeah, what's that?
Are you the passion merchant of the podcast?
I'm the good-looking one. He's the face. Yeah, he's the face for radio. So yeah, but no, he's got the football knowledge and all that lot. So you'll find out that I get taken the piss out of a lot on my show for having no football knowledge. So yeah, it's like when you said false nine, that my eyes just clouded over, and I'm just like, please don't ask me. So yeah,
fair enough. Well, mate, if you get to the playoffs, good luck. And I might see you next season for another pre-game show in the Premier League.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. But hey ho, listen. In a way, I want you to beat it so you can beat Leeds and let them cry. But realistically, I think we need to win.
Yeah, you definitely do. But yeah, cheers, mate. And if I don't see you next season, I might see you the season after. But I'm sure we'll cross paths soon.
Oh, definitely.